Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Yoga for Heart. I'm so glad that you can be here this morning to join me for this yoga practice to benefit Lonnie's Smile Foundation. So I thank you so much for being here and really hope that this is a practice where we can start off our day feeling relaxed, feeling strengthened in every way. So I'm going to give you a few minutes here just to gather your items or place yourself in a place where you will be able to practice with me. So if you have a yoga mat, if you want to get that ready, if you don't have a yoga mat and you have a comfortable place where you can lie, perhaps even on a towel or something else that can be comfortable for you, maybe have some water handy and any props. I know some of you may practice yoga on your own and may have blocks or straps. If you don't have a block, what I'd encourage you to do is to get maybe a cushion that you wouldn't mind lying on top of or using, or a couple cushions. And if you don't have a yoga strap, another option for you could be if you have a band or if you have a bathrobe with a really long, soft belt, that could be used as well. So any kind of couple cushions, maybe a band, a belt, because you'll have the option to use these items, these props, and it might be helpful for you. So I'll just give you a few minutes to get yourself ready and find whatever you can to use in this class, and we'll start in a few moments, okay? So hopefully you have had a chance here to gather yourself and your items. I'll give you another minute or so to just get yourself ready. And in about a minute, we will begin this time together. So before we get moving, I'm going to briefly tell you a bit about myself and about Lonnie's Smile Foundation also, and then about what we'll be doing today. So my name is Grace Burns, and I am a yoga teacher. And I like to say that yoga found me. I have experience in working in careers in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, which I really enjoyed. But as I was working full time, I began to learn a bit about yoga, and then it found me and became my passion. So I love what yoga can do for all of us in every dimension of our being, not only in terms of our bodies and helping us to become more flexible, become stronger, more balanced, but every dimension of who we are, our mind, our breath, our spirit, every aspect of who we are. Yoga can create well-being within us and can help us really learn to accept who we are and love who we are and be present. And that's what I love about yoga. So that's a little bit about me. And let me tell you a little bit about the Lonnie Smile Foundation. So who we are. Lonnie Smile Foundation is a grassroots children's charity founded in 2010 to honor the memory of Lonnie Brent Dirksen, who passed away at the age of 5 due to complications from a congenital heart defect. So that is who we are, and that is the memory of the young child that we honor. Lonnie Smile creates opportunities for children that are born with congenital heart disease to go to summer camp, which is so important for them to build lasting memories, to build friendships, to push their boundaries and gain new perspectives on just being kids. And what has been achieved so far is that since 2010, over 120 kids with CHD, congenital heart disease, have gone to summer camp and have really benefited from that experience. So I'm just going to say that we are very grateful. Lonnie Smile Foundation is very grateful for this opportunity to host this event and for you to be joining us. And if you enjoy this class, we kindly ask you to make a small donation to help more kids go to camp in the future. The donation link is in the description and will be posted in the chat. And please make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more free, fun content. So we thank you again for joining us, and really this can make a big difference in the life of a child. So now to the class. So because the participants here today probably have different levels of experience in yoga, I'm going to make this class accessible to everybody. I will offer modifications, and I'll be teaching a class, an eclectic class, with different combinations of yoga teachings and ways of practicing yoga, hatha, ashtanga. Those are some of the different schools of yoga. There are many different approaches. And so I'll blend some of these approaches and I'll make it accessible. We will sweat a bit, we'll stretch a bit, we'll relax. And hopefully by the end of this class, you will feel calm, you will feel strong, you will feel able to just enjoy this beautiful day and know that you've made a difference in the life of a child. So let's first begin by starting here seated with our legs crossed. And what I'd like to bring your attention to is if you have a block or those cushions, maybe a cushion or two, and you find that sitting here is kind of uncomfortable, which it can be for a lot of our bodies, take a cushion or take your block and place it underneath your buttocks. Okay, if you're working with cushions or pillows, make sure it's even. Okay, so you're not lopsided to one side. So place that underneath your buttocks for whenever we're seated today, and that will help it be more comfortable for you, okay? So let's just rest our hands on our knees and just begin to roll our shoulders a little bit. We're just gonna sit here and become aware of our body and our breath before we go into the yoga poses. So just roll those shoulders. We tend to have a lot of tension in the upper body. And now release those shoulders. Just relax them. Hands relaxed on the knees, arms are relaxed, spine is upright, but not rigid. Slight tuck in of the chin, so we're not sitting like this. You're bringing the neck in line with the rest of your spine. You can drop the chin a bit too if you want. And just close your eyes. And let's gently close our mouth. So keep your mouth gently closed. You're beginning to breathe with intention through the nose, just as your breath is, natural breath. And now bring your awareness to your body. Just notice how your body feels this morning, starting at the crown of your head, the top of your head. Just scan and feel all the way down to fingertips and toes and back up. Notice what you feel. Our bodies are constantly changing. Notice any places where there's a bit of tension, maybe something that's new, a new feeling. Just notice that and soften as much as you can. Now bringing your awareness to your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. Feeling the sensations of your breath as you inhale and you exhale. Noticing how the belly expands and retracts. The movement of the body like a wave, breathing in, breathing out. And just go ahead and open your eyes. So just a couple minutes there practicing mindful breathing. And just notice how you feel after just a couple minutes. The breath is an integral part of the practice of yoga. Generally speaking, when we practice the yoga poses, we're working towards breathing in and out through the nose. That comes with time. But just make sure that you're breathing, and I'll remind you of that. Keeping mouth gently closed and working towards breathing through the nostrils is your intention, but just make sure that you are breathing as we practice. So let's move into tabletop. So we are stacking our shoulders above our wrists and our knees are right below our hips. Let's begin to wake up our spine and move with the breath. On the inhale, we move into dog. On the exhale, draw the belly in, buttocks under, chin to throat, cat. Feel your spine moving. It's such a beautiful thing. Inhale, dog. Exhale, cat. So moving with the breath at your own pace. Inhale as you look up. Exhale as you curl under at your own pace. And just finish your last set. Take your time. And then bring yourself back to neutral tabletop. So now let's extend and lengthen our tabletop a bit. We're going to move into a flow sequence. Again, notice how we're moving with the breath. So bring your knees further back. So your feet are moving back down towards the bottom of your mat. And make sure your shoulders are still above your wrists. So if your arms look like this, bring your hands back. Okay, so we are in a longer, flatter table. Okay, so let's begin again to move with the breath. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we come down to the ground. Inhale, lifting the chest into cobra pose. The exhale moves us into child's pose. Moving with the breath. Inhale forward. Exhale down. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, sitting back. Inhaling moves us forward. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra with the chest. Exhale moves us into child's pose. So keep moving at your own pace. At your own pace with the breath. Take your time and let's do one more set. And come back. And let's come back now to tabletop. Bring your knees in a little bit. We're back into the tabletop classic pose that we were in earlier. So we're going to be moving into high plank and then practicing up dog and down dog. I will give modifications for this. This may be new for you, and we'll work on this together, okay? So let's move into high plank. So here we are, shoulders are stacked above the wrists. We're in a high plank position. Again, moving with the breath. This is a similar flow sequence, a little more advanced than what we just did. So take an inhale. On the exhale, you come down into four-limb pose or put your knees and chest to the ground. That may be better for you. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Again, the inhale brings us forward. The exhale, four-limb pose or knees and chest to the ground. That's fine. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Again, moving with the breath. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, folding the body into down dog. Again. And the next time you're in down dog, take your time. Let's just settle into down dog. Okay? First thing, the backs of your legs might be a bit tight. So before we talk about the alignment, just go ahead and bend one knee and then the other. Just stretching the backs of those legs. Now, if you look at your feet, they're not as wide as the mat, nor are they together. You want your feet in line with your hip joints and the feet to be straight forward, okay? Now let's lift our head, look up at our arms. You want your wrists and arms in line with your outer shoulders. Spread your fingers, spread them. Wrists are straight. Now, push against the ground with those hands and those arms and push the hips back. Push the hips back, sit bones up, and release the heels. I'd like you to wiggle your neck and head a bit. Sometimes we get all tense in down dog. Wiggle your neck and head and lengthen through the neck. Relax the neck and head. If your heels don't touch the ground, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be with your body as it is. Press down a bit more with your thumbs and first fingers to take some of the weight off of the wrists. This can be a hard pose for some bodies. It was very hard for me when I first began practicing. So be patient, it comes with time. Let's raise our right leg here. This is called three-legged dog. Touch the sky with that right foot. Reach, lengthen. Touch a cloud. On the next inhale, let's bring that foot forward. You can help it with your hand on your ankle Bring the foot forward and release the back leg down. Here we are in a lunge. You're going to place your hands interlaced on your thigh. I want you to take a look at the front leg. If it looks like this, scoot your front foot forward, knee above the ankle. Relax the shoulders, lengthen through the spine, and just gently press down on that thigh. We're not doing this. Be mindful. Inhale, arms overhead, interlace the fingers. Touch the sky with your fingertips. Ground down with your right foot. Push the ground away with your right foot. And let's bring the hands down to the heart. So your right hand is going to go on your right hip. Okay, your right hand is on your right hip. Your left arm is coming up. In just a moment, when I cue you, we're going to do a spinal twist to the right, and you're going to hook this elbow over the leg. Okay, let's first take an inhale here to lengthen. On the exhale, you're rotating from the spine and hooking that arm over the leg and placing the hands at side prayer. Gently press against that leg with that arm to continue rotating and opening up the right body. You can straighten the left leg if you want. Tuck your left toes under. And inhale, come back to face the front. Right hand on the hip again. Left hand as if it was your left foot. Place it down, spread the fingers. We're going to do another twist. Inhale, on the exhale, we rotate, and this time we float the arm up. Straighten that back leg if you wish. Really root down through that left hand and arm as you open up that right body. And release that back leg down if it is straight, and relax your back foot. We're going to practice a pose now called lizard. You're going to place both hands on the inside of your right foot and heel toe that foot to the right. Notice I have a 90-degree angle here, knee above the ankle, foot is straight. So adjust that if you need to. And if you have blocks or cushions, they might come in handy. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we come into lizard. Again, a couple cushions or a couple blocks might make it easier for you to rest your forearms. Soften through the body, the neck and the head. Check in with your breath. Practice breathing through the nose here if you like. Tucking your left toes under, straighten your left leg as much as you're able to. Might be just a little bit or fully, whatever works for you. And release the back leg down. Heel toe, the right foot back to the center. So the foot's right in the center. We're going to go back mindfully to down dog. So positioning, spreading those fingers. Hands look like starfish, arms in line with outer shoulders, wrists are straight facing forward. Back we go. Feet are straight. Lengthen through that neck. No tension in the neck or the shoulders. And breathe. So let's repeat that sequence on the other side. So the left leg goes up. Three-legged dog. Let's just stay here for a few breaths. Torso is square. Leg reaches up to a cloud. On your next inhale, you bring that foot forward. Help it forward if you need to with a hand on the ankle. And let's come up. Check out our alignment and feel it. Knee above the ankle. Scoot that front foot forward if you need to. Place the hands on the thigh. Gently pressing down. And now let's inhale, arms overhead. Root down through that left foot. Push the ground away. And lift your heart. And let's bring the hands now down to our heart. And let's place the left hand on the hip. Right arm comes up. We're going to do that spinal twist now to the left, okay? So inhale first. Exhale, moving into a spinal twist. You're placing your hands at side prayer. If you wish, straighten your right leg. Gently press against that left leg and keep rotating. Opening up the left body. Bring the hands back to the heart. So left hand again on the hip, right hand goes down, spread the fingers. Hand looks like a starfish, it's like your right foot. Inhale here, on the exhale, moving into a spinal twist here. And straightening that leg again if you wish, or not. Keep rotating. Opening up that left body. And release the hand down, release the back leg and relax that back foot. Let's prepare ourselves for lizard. So that foot comes over to the edge. Again, check out that alignment, adjust if you need to. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we move into lizard. And this pose does look like a lizard. Relax into it as much as you can. Notice your breath. Are you breathing? Tuck your right toes under and straighten. Leg. And release. Heel toe that foot to the center of the mat. Place your hands down. And let's go back to downward facing dog. And on the next exhale, let's just release into child's pose for a moment. The knees can be together. If it's more comfortable for you to open up your knees, go ahead. You want to sit your buttocks right down on your heels as much as you can. Lots of variations here for the arms. They can just rest here. Another variation is the arms by your side. Let the shoulders just relax and release. The one I like the most, palms up. You can also bring your hands to prayer on the back of your head. So just choose where you'd like to be. If your forehead does not reach the ground, or if you like, especially if you've got a cushion, just put your forehead on a cushion or rest it on the ground. And now I'd like you to bring your awareness again to your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. Just feeling the breath here. Every yoga pose shapes the breath differently. Notice how it feels here. And let's slowly come back up. Let's come back up to tabletop. Just watch me for a moment. Just watch. So we're going to practice moving from up dog to down dog. Okay? And I'll guide you through that. This is one of the 5 Tibetan rites. There are 5 Tibetan rituals that have been practiced for thousands of years in Tibet and the eastern part of the world. And they were discovered in the 1900s, I believe, by a British man who traveled to Tibet, and he wrote about it. So you can Google, find out more about the Tibetan rites. It's a beautiful practice. There's 5. This is the last Tibetan rite. We go from up dog, we go to down dog. So let's try it. If you tire, you can just take a break, okay? But let's, first of all, set ourselves up properly aligned. So, down dog. Fingers and hands like starfish. Arms in line with outer shoulders. Move into down dog. Lengthen through the spine. Lift the sit bones up. Push the ground away with the hands and the arms and push the hips back. So here we go. Notice how we're going to move with the breath. Inhale moves us into up dog. On the exhale, push the ground away, engage your core back to down dog. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Let's do that 5 more times. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Moving with the breath at your own pace. Let's go ahead and do 3 more sets. When you're done, you can just rest in child's pose again. Or if you prefer, you can stay in down dog. I'm going to stay in down dog, actually. I'm going to rest right here. So downward facing dog can be a challenge for our bodies when we first start practicing it. It was for me. It was my least favorite yoga pose when I first began practicing yoga. And with time, it has become one of my favorites. So keep at it. All our bodies are different. Your heels don't have to touch the ground. You work with your body and progress from there. So let's do one more thing here. Let's move into high plank. A little bit of a challenge here. Okay, so you're in high plank. An option for you, if this doesn't work, is to put your knees on the ground. Okay? Pull in the belly. Squeeze the glutes. Your shoulders are stacked above your wrists. Now, let's turn into side plank. So you're going to rotate onto your right foot. You can double stack or bend that knee down. Raise that arm high, and you can lift the left leg if you wish. Reach. Imagine there's a string lifting your hip and your arm right up to the sky. 3, 2, 1. And let's come back to neutral plank. And now we're going to do that on the other side, okay? So come onto that left foot or that knee. Reach. Touch the sky with that arm. Raise the right leg if you wish. 3, 2, 1. And come back to high plank. And let's go back to down dog one last time here. Adjust those arms if you need to. We're going to do one final thing here in down dog, okay? I want you to imagine there are strings lifting your sit bones up to the sky. So you're going to come right up onto your tippy toes because your sit bones are lifting, lifting, lifting. I'm up on my tippy toes. My sit bones are lifting. My spine is lengthening. Tippy toes. Now keep that spine as it is. Keep lifting up through the sit bones and just release your heels down as much as you can in this alignment. Okay, let's try that again. Lift the sit bones up. There are strings lifting them up to the sky. Tippy toes, tippy toes. Lengthening through that spine, lifting the sit bones, release the heels down. Let's do that one more time. Up, 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 up. And release down. Let's go back to child's pose and let's do some active work here in child's pose. So child's pose can be very restful. It can also
be a little active. So we're going to do a couple of things here. So keep your arms active. Again, find a comfy place, rest your forehead, if you want, on a cushion or a block. So from the waist up, we're going to be moving. We're going to take our hands and begin to move our body to the left. So just walk your hands on the ground. I'm just going to get a really nice side stretch here. Just keep going as far as you'd like to go. Arms are active. Palms are on the ground. I'm going to go a little bit more, and I feel a lovely stretch here down my right body. And now let's go to the other side. I'm going to walk my hands to the right. And then I'm going to stay right here, feeling it now on the left. And slowly coming back. Pressing into your hands, just pull yourselves up to sit up. So let's come up to stand. So we're going to be standing with our legs nice and wide. Okay, so good width in those legs, and check out your feet. Okay, we want to stand with our feet straight. We're going to be doing a few forward folds. The feet, we want them to be straight. So if you look at the outer edge of your foot, the outside edge, that should be straight, okay? Your feet might feel a little pigeon-toed. That's okay. My feet always look a little pigeon-toed because of the way my toes are, but my feet are straight here. So you want to find that now. And the legs here are engaged, so they're active, rooting down through the feet. Quads are engaged, legs are engaged. If you need to bend your knees in these forward folds, that's totally fine. But the intention is for the legs to be engaged and for you to fold from the hip joints, okay? So let's place our hands on our hips. Let's take an inhale and a small back bend here, little back bend. And on the exhale, we fold, and we're slowly going to come down. And what I'd like you to do is take your hands and bring your hands around to the backs of your legs onto your calves and wrap your fingers and your hands actively on those calves and begin to gently pull on those calves. As you pull, release the crown of the head towards the ground, relax your neck and head, your torso. Legs are active, arms and hands are active. Keeping the hips square facing forward, release your left hand and bring it right over onto your right shin. Again, the hips are square. All we're going to do here is gently pull on that leg and draw the head towards the right leg. And now let's make our way to our left leg. So left hand on the calf, right hand on the shin, and gently drawing the torso, the head towards the leg. Now let's slowly bring our hands back to our hips, and on the next inhale, root down through your feet and your legs and come up to lengthen. So check out your feet. The toes love to make trips to the corners of the rooms. So bring those toes back in if you need to. We're going to practice one more forward fold. And if you have a strap or a belt, it might be helpful for you to work with your strap behind you, palms up, and work like this. If you find you don't have a lot of mobility with your hands interlaced. But let's try it. So keep that handy if you think that's you. The hands interlaced behind us, okay? So we'll be working like this, or use your band or your strap. Engage those legs, check out your feet. Inhale, small back bend. On the exhale, let's fold. Again, if there's not a lot of mobility in the shoulders, you have a prop, go ahead and use it. Relax your neck and head. Reach up to the sky with your hands. Imagine I'm lifting them up and over. Every time you exhale here, see if you can release a bit more into this pose. With every exhale, just release. And inhale, rooting down through the feet and legs, using the core to bring you up to stand. Good. So let's come down to the ground now, and we're going to practice a few back bends. And these back bends, especially the first two that we'll do, are very helpful to build strength in your back. So if that's what you'd like to do, you can practice them anytime, and then we'll move towards ones that are a little more advanced, okay? So first, let's just practice Cobra. We did Cobra earlier in that flow sequence, okay? So in Cobra, we just lift the chest. Be mindful of your neck. We tend to do this when we do back bends like this. I've just compressed my neck. I've tightened it. You see that? I've shortened it. So when you practice back bends like this, you want to keep the neck in line with the rest of your spine. The neck and the head just go along for the ride. You don't want to lift your chin, okay? So let's position ourselves for Cobra. The hands are by the body. The feet are together. Let's engage our legs. Point your toes, point your feet, tuck your tailbone under, press your pubic bone into the ground. The feet and legs stay on the ground, and we inhale and move into Cobra. Let's stay right here. This is not a push-up, minimal weight on the hands. Feel your shoulders. Are they like tense and rolling? Draw them down. Lift using those back muscles. Breathe. Let's take one more inhale here. On the exhale, let's come down. Let's do that again. Inhale, Cobra. Active legs. Feel your back muscles getting stronger. And exhale down. Let's do that one last time. Inhale, Cobra. And on the exhale, release. And let's move right down to crocodile. So one hand on top of the other. This is resting pose. Just rest your forehead on your hands. Relax your legs. I really like crocodile. It's a great resting pose to give us a little bit of rest as we continue moving through some more back bends. Okay, so Cobra, wonderful to strengthen the back. So is the next back bend we're going to do. We're going to practice locust, okay? So locust. So arms are going to be by your side, or you're going to interlace your hands behind you, whatever works for you. In this back bend, we lift both the toes and the chest. Remember, we're not lifting the chin, okay? So find your arms, bring your big toes together, point your feet, activate the legs, tuck the tailbone under, and inhale. Up we go. Toes come up. Legs are not bending. If your knees bend, drop your toes down. We're just going to do this once. Lift through the chest. Imagine I've got your toes and your hands, and I'm pulling them gently towards me at the bottom of your mat. So I'm pulling your fingers and your toes, lengthen, reach. One more inhale. And release from locust. So again, crocodile. Just rest. And slowly bring yourself up. And let's just just for a few breaths, move into child's pose, stretch out your back. And let's practice one more back bend, okay? One more back bend. Camel. Some more advanced back bend, and I'll give you the option to advance by reaching the heels once we're in it. But first, let's just begin by all staying with the hands on the buttocks, okay? So we move into it first and then deepen it if it works for you, it may not. So your knees are below your hips, so legs are hip width. Camel is a lovely back bend where we open up that whole front body, okay? You're gonna place your hands on your buttocks, not on your back, okay? Hands on that fleshy part of the body, our buttocks. Relax the shoulders, release them. You're drawing the elbows together. We move into back bends on the inhale. So on the inhale, keep the hands here for now. Let's move into camel. Make sure those shoulders are not tightened. You're drawing your shoulder blades together, feeling your front body opening up. Keeping the hands here, that's great. Or if you want to reach towards your heels, you can do it with your feet on the ground. Or, as I'm going to demonstrate, you can even tuck your toes under. That may work for you. If it doesn't, hands stay on the buttocks. If you've got those heels, pull with your fingers. Activate those fingers. You'll feel that activate the back bend even more deeply. And on the next inhale, come right back up. So let's take a seat now. And if you have that cushion or cushions or strap or band, feel free to keep them close to you because we are going to practice a forward fold and these items may be helpful for you. So first, let's sit in staff pose. Dandasana, language of yoga, Sanskrit, which means staff, S-T-A-F-F, foundation of all seated yoga poses. Peel the flesh off your sit bones. So pull those buttocks right out of the way so you can feel those sit bones. You're going to want to flex your feet. So we're going to be actively moving into this forward fold with the front foot that's going to be flexed, okay? So identify your right leg, and let's bring that right foot, bend the right knee, and bring that right foot right into your inner thigh. You probably need to bring that right hip forward a bit because you may have taken it back, so you can square yourself. Now, you can place a block or a cushion underneath that knee if this bothers your knee. So I'm going to do that on this side just to support my knee a bit, so feel free to do that. If you cannot reach your foot in the forward fold, you can use a strap or a band or a belt, whatever you might have, and place it on the ball of your foot. You don't want to ever hold the strap like this. You want to walk your hands as closely as you can down to your foot. Okay, so let's get ready to begin here. Left foot is flexed, hips are square. Let's take an inhale to lengthen. On the exhale, hinging from the hip joints, reaching towards that foot if you can, or using your strap. Now, feel your body. Soften through the shoulders, draw the shoulder blades down towards the waist and open through the chest. Lengthening through the spine, hinging from the hip joints, working with the breath. On the inhale, grow longer through the spine. On the exhale, go deeper into the fold. Inhale, grow longer. Exhale, go deeper. And let's inhale, arms overhead to come up and release. So let's work on the other side now. Let's first come back to staff pose. Sit forward, it probably went back a little bit. This foot remains deeply flexed and active. So here we go. Inhale. We move into forward folds on the exhale. So we exhale and we move into it. And here we work. Feel your body. Lengthen through the spine. Work with the breath. Inhale, grow longer through the spine. Exhale is where you want to find more space into that fold. Inhale, grow longer. Exhale, go deeper. And inhale and bring yourselves up and release. So let's lie down on the ground and practice a spinal twist. So you're going to be lying on the ground and your knees are bent and your feet are on the ground, legs are hip width, okay? This is beautiful, beautiful. This is my favorite lying down spinal twist. I love this. I love this. It's a beautiful pose. So take your right leg and cross your right leg over your left leg. So the legs are tightly crossed, okay? Relaxed, but not open. You're not opening up that leg, okay? You're going to raise your right arm up. Look at your beautiful hand, and then let that arm relax down on the ground to the right of your head, palm up. So that arm is just resting right here, palm up to the right of your head. Take your left hand and place it on your right thigh. Gently begin to pull the legs, the knees to the left. Okay, you may need to adjust a bit, and you may need to bring that left buttock back a bit so those hips can stack on top of each other. So adjust your feet, left elbow is on the ground. And now you're going to turn your upper spinal twist, the spinal rotation. And I'd like you to move your left hand onto your belly. So just place your hand on your belly. It's just resting gently on your belly. And go ahead and close your eyes. Notice if you're holding, if there's any tension anywhere. Sometimes I contract my calves or thighs. So I'm consciously releasing to the ground under me. Now, breathing in and out through the nose, feel your breath here in your belly. Notice the breath. It's just like a wave. It rises and it falls. And let's slowly bring our legs back. We're going to practice this on the other side now. So you're going to cross your left leg. Legs are nice and relaxed, tightly crossed. You're going to look at your left arm and hand and relax that arm down, palm up, resting on the ground to the left of your head. Right hand is on the thigh, gently pulling the knees to the right. And again, adjusting those feet. I'm pulling my right buttock back a bit, moving my feet, relaxing my elbow on the ground, and then turning my upper body, neck, head to the left. And now let's bring our hand to rest gently and lightly on the belly and feel the breath. A twist like this is a lovely place to feel that deep belly breath because the position we're in
the diaphragm is really working here. You can feel the way the belly rises and falls because the diaphragm, as you inhale, works downward and the organs and everything presses out. And as the diaphragm on the exhale raises up, the belly draws back in. That's what we call deep belly breathing. And you can really feel that here. The diaphragm, a muscle that really helps us, whose main purpose is to help us breathe and breathe deeply. So let's go ahead and bring ourselves back here and place the feet on the ground, knees are bent, and let's make sure the legs here are hip width, so the knees are not together, they're separated, they're hip width. Let's cross our right leg over our left leg and open up the knee by opening up through the hip joint here. Flex this right foot to protect that knee as we move into a variation here of pigeon. Lying down pigeon, this is often called, reclined pigeon. So gently pulling the legs towards us, our hands are around our left leg. This is a wonderful hip opener. Helps release tension in the buttocks, lower back. Really good for sciatica as well, or piriformis syndrome, or any tightness in this area of the body. So let's try that on the other side, left leg. And gently drawing the legs towards you. Keep that foot deeply flexed, that left foot especially, to protect your knee. And release. So let's give our knees a nice hug into our chest. We're making our way to final rest pose, Shavasana, and then we will come up and briefly practice a really lovely meditation called the loving kindness meditation. So we are nearing towards the end of the class, but first, very importantly, spending some time in Shavasana. But let's first stretch our spine. So I'd like you to curl up like a ball, lift your shoulders and your head, draw the knees in, big stretch for the spine. And then on the inhale, let's bring our arms overhead and legs below and really lengthen here, stretch, big inhale. And on the next exhale, just relax, release arms, legs, body, neck, head. Moving into final rest pose, bringing your arms down by your side, palms up. If your feet are really close, make sure you've got some good distance between those feet. So open up those feet for at least a foot between them. Relax those ankles and those feet. You can flop them around a little bit. Make sure they're nice and relaxed. Arms by your side so the palms are up. And watch your neck here. We tend to sometimes lie here and compress. Again, shorten and tighten our neck. So gently draw your chin down towards your throat. Find yourself lying evenly on the ground. Release the shoulders down. Touch base with your body. Scanning up and down and just noticing. Noticing what you feel, if there's any areas of tension, just softening and releasing. Soften through the jaw. Eyes are closed. Let the ground hold you here. Watch, feel, observe the breath.
And anything that comes into your mind, observe and let it pass. Be like the sky and let your thoughts be like clouds. Just let them pass. No need to talk back to them. Just notice and let them pass. Keep returning to your breath and to your body. So as you are still in Shavasana, just bring some gentle movements, fingers and toes, and just visualize and see yourself wherever you are, just gently moving. And go ahead and bend your knees slowly and roll onto your right side with your knees bent. So you're just going to rest on your side with your knees bent, and then slowly pressing into your hands and pulling yourselves up to a seated position once again. Legs are crossed and you can sit on your block or your cushion. I'm going to teach you and we're going to practice a beautiful meditation in a moment as we come to the close of this class. And there will be a question and answer period as well, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But first, I just want you to feel your body. Again, relax and release the shoulders. And for now, you can just keep your hands on your knees. You can always bring your fingertips together as well. It's a common practice for when you sit and meditate. Actually, bringing fingertips together like this has many benefits, but one is energetically, it actually increases your ability to concentrate. So feel free to do that, or just hands resting on the knees. Spine is upright, not rigid. Shoulders are relaxed. Just take a moment to feel your body, to be with your breath. To notice how you feel in every way after this practice.
So just in closing here, I'm going to teach you a loving kindness meditation. And you can certainly find a lot of information about this online, and some of you may already practice it on your own. It's a beautiful meditation that you always want to start by practicing it for yourself first, and then you can extend it towards those that you know, those that you love, people that you'll encounter that you don't know, others in the world, the whole world, and people that you might have difficulty loving. So it certainly can begin with oneself and be extended. The purpose is to be extended outward. But let's just practice it today for ourselves. And I'm going to say it a few times, and you can just listen and really take that to you. Really take that and bring yourself loving kindness. There is no one in the entire universe or multi-universes that is worthy of love more than yourself. There is no one that is worthy of love more than you. So let's practice that. So again, just comfortable here. I'll be the one speaking. You'll be the one bringing that into your heart. So your eyes are closed. And I'm extending it to myself, and each of us are extending that to ourselves. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Last time. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Let's bring our hands to our heart. Feeling the strength and stability of our spine, the rhythm of our breath and our heart. The light in me salutes the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining with me today. This will be an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you might have about yoga, and I'll do my very best to answer them. So I just want to introduce a lovely friend of mine and a really good friend to the Lonnie's Smile Foundation, who's literally behind the scenes, Rochelle Hansen. She's here, and if there are any questions, she will relay them to me, so you'll hear her lovely voice. And certainly just want to encourage you to consider giving a donation, making a donation to this cause to be able to benefit a child in the future that will have the opportunity to go to a camp that will really change their lives. So just checking in here with Rochelle, are there any questions at all? Okay, so we'll take a few more minutes and I'll just explain just a few minutes, a few things about yoga. And again, many of you may be aware, or all of you may be aware of these things, but they're notes of interest in terms of what yoga is about. And I actually have a really good demonstration right here. So just a couple of minutes for me to talk about yoga and perhaps point out some really helpful ways to practice yoga and some things to be mindful of in your yoga practice. So I'm going to move out of the way because this is actually a tree of life, and it's a beautiful beautiful artifact from Mexico, which is actually where I was born. And coincidentally, this tree of life happens to have 8 branches. And yoga is a practice that has 8 limbs to it, 8 branches. And that's something that we're becoming more aware of in the West. In the East, where it comes from, there's a greater awareness of the fact that yoga is not just the yoga poses, but that each one of the branches is a different aspect to yoga. And yoga truly is a lifestyle. It's not just being on the mat, but it's the way you live your life. So certainly, we practiced a lot of yoga poses. The yoga asanas are one of the limbs. Meditation is another. Pranayama, breathing exercises, working with prana, the life source and energy, is another one of the limbs. And really calming the senses is another one. And then there's actually ethics and morals, the yamas, the niyamas, different ways of living. So just without getting into a lot of detail, I just want to remind us that yoga is much more than just the practice of the poses, of which there are over 900. It's really the practice of all of these aspects and bringing it into life, into every aspect of how we live. And certainly yoga, the word yoga in Sanskrit means to unite, to yoke, to reunite, really, every dimension of our being, body, mind, breath, and all of the other dimensions of who we are. So just want to mention that. Don't know if there's any questions.
Yes, Jennifer's asking, what do the birds represent?
What do the birds represent? I think they represent life. That's a good question. I'm assuming they represent life. It is a tree of life from the indigenous culture in Mexico. So I don't have an entire answer to your question, but I'll look that up. And I think this tree, certainly, I don't know that the people that made up this image were thinking of yoga when they did it, but it certainly serves my purpose as a teacher to have it here to be able to talk about this. And I would think the birds represent life. They probably represent freedom, flying, energy, everything that a bird can represent. So
Jennifer says that's beautiful. And Tamara's asking, with all of us working from home now,
yes,
what poses could we do while we're working or at our desks, or things to be mindful of while we're working at home?
That's a really good question. Yes, there are many things you can do. I think, first of all, for us, whether we're working at home or in an office setting, most of us are seated in chairs. I know some people do stand to do work, but if you are seated in a chair, which is more common, you want to be mindful of your posture in the chair. So what tends to happen is this, and we lean into our chair. So you want to sit as upright as you can and relax throughout the day. You want to check in with your posture. And if you can, keep your feet solid on the ground instead of crossing your legs, if you can. So keep the feet bent down on the ground and check in with your posture throughout the day. Notice tension. Shoulder rolls are great to do, for sure, throughout your day. Take little breaks and do shoulder rolls. And notice your breathing. Become more aware of your breath and take moments to just close your eyes and release the shoulders, sit upright, and breathe. Breathe. Often when we're going through the day and there's lots happening, our breath becomes shallow, it becomes tense. We don't even realize what's going on and we get all tense. So take the time to stop and breathe. There's actually some programs online, or if you have your phone or an alarm clock or something you can put on, you can set an alarm to remind you, actually, to just stop and breathe. I will show you an exercise right now very quickly that's also really good to do when you're seated. So we can try it now. Take your hand, doesn't matter which one, place it on your head. The other hand can rest on your chair or can even come under your chair and hold onto the chair underneath. And then with this hand, gently pull your ear down to your shoulder. So let's just do that stretch right now. You'll notice it's a beautiful stretch for this area that gets tight. And just breathe right now. So close your mouth and take some gentle breaths here, breathing in and out through the nose. So even just a minute or two of this during the day will help you. So let's do the other side, even ourselves out, relax the shoulders, gently pull the ear down to the shoulder. And slowly come up. So you can do that seated in a chair. So I would say watch your posture, take breaks, even 1 or 2 throughout the day to just stop and breathe, close your eyes. That's a great one for this whole part that gets tense. And another one, I'll just close with this, in terms of when you're out of your chair, definitely cat and dog tilts is another great pose. And really moving and working with the breath just to release your spine and your body and reduce stress. So those would be some of the tips I have. There's lots I could give you, but I know that we're finishing up here. So I think those are good ones to have. So another question.
So question from Gilda. Can you please give some advice on how to protect your knees and wrists in certain poses?
Yeah. So you want to be very mindful in terms of your knees, and it depends really on the pose. And I have torn meniscus in both my knees. So this one speaks right to me. And that's why you saw me using a block earlier. When you're seated, when you're working with your legs crossed, when you're working in seated positions, this is where seated on something that's going to lift you up, whether it's a block, some cushions, or a really thick blanket folded up, just make sure it's even. This is going to open up your hips more and help your knees. And there's always the option as well to place a block or a cushion under a knee. For instance, here I am in cobblers, okay? So if I had 2 blocks, I have one, but actually a cushion here. It's not as tall, but you can place props in certain poses that put stress on your knees to support the knees, and to place them under your buttocks when you sit will help open up the hips and help you sit more comfortably, okay? So those are some options. In terms of standing, you always want to make sure in standing poses and squats or whatever, you want to be mindful that the knees are in lunges. That's why earlier in the class, I said, watch your alignment. Okay, so this could injure my knee. You've got to make sure the knee is above the ankle. So that's one way of supporting the knee, for instance, in lunges, or if we're doing chair pose, I want to bring my knees back as far as I can over my ankles. Here, they can get injured and have less support. Honestly, the best thing you can do for your knees, and I know this from experience, is to strengthen your legs. Strengthen your quads, strengthen your hamstrings, will provide support for your knees. Very important. You can do that in yoga for sure. Today we did some things that did provide, strengthening for our legs, but also working with weights, working to really build strength there. So the knees was the first one. What was the other one? The wrists. So in terms of wrists, in terms of down dog, any kind of plank work, and we do a lot of work on our wrists in yoga, and down dog can be tough on the wrists, so can high plank. So when you're putting weight onto your hands, let's say down dog, press a bit more with the thumbs and the first fingers. That's going to take some of the weight off of the wrists. But also strengthening your core and your body is going to take weight off your wrist, because when I first began practicing down dog, and I really didn't like it at all, and I said I'd never do it. I said that to someone actually, which is really funny. Never say never. So this was my down dog when I first began, which was fine. That's where I was at, okay? With time, as I got stronger and moved into it more, the weight goes back. You see that? So there's less pressure on the wrists. High plank. Maybe a few years ago, my high plank might have not been as it is now, which is fine. So I had more dead weight on my wrists. Now, with my body continuing to get stronger little by little, like all of us, working, progressing, there's less dead weight. My core is stronger. So I would say be mindful, if your wrists are an issue, you can always come down onto your elbows, like when we're doing side plank, things like that. You can come down onto your forearms, but also just know that the stronger your body gets, the less dead weight, and in particular down dog, the deeper it gets, the less weight will be directly on your wrist because you're going to push your body back. So, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
I think that's it for now, other than some lovely comments about what a wonderful class. It was beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you for honoring Lonnie's memory through this beautiful practice.
Well, yeah, one thing I just would like to share, and I had met Tamara when I worked at KPMG as well as Rochelle, and it's interesting that and I don't think that Tamara knew this, but many years ago I actually worked at the hospital for sick children on the cardiac unit. So I actually, even though I don't have any relatives in my family that have congenital heart disease, I was very much involved with helping families that did. So I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to be a part of this, and I'm grateful that I was invited. So just in closing here, I just really want to thank you for joining today's class, and I'm grateful that you have taken the time to take care of yourself, because the more we take care of ourselves, the more we can love and give to others. And it's really important during this time to take the time during each of your days to love yourself, care for yourself, practice the loving kindness meditation for yourself first. I sometimes wake up in the morning and I just say it to myself a few times, and I try and keep that in my mind, and I send it to others. And if you enjoyed this session, please make a donation to Lonnie Smile Foundation, and be sure to like and subscribe for more content and more information in the future. So unless there's any other questions or
No, they can visit the website, LonnieSmile.com.
Okay, LonnieSmile.com is the website, so you can visit the website and check out all the information there. And I hope that you continue practicing yoga. I know some of you are probably seasoned practitioners, and some of you are maybe newer to it. Just keep practicing.
Sorry, it's LonnieSmile.org. I'm sorry.
LonnieSmile.org.
Sorry.
So we're making a correction here. It's okay. LonnieSmile.org. That is the website. I wish you a beautiful day. I wish you health and well-being and just enjoying life in every way. Thanks again. Namaste.